there is a couple of plot holes here that kind of just like one of the main ones, because you were talking about the vault, and I want to start with the vault stuff. So one of the major plot holes here is that Moldaver, she's friends with Rose. It's almost implied they have some type of like romantic relationship, but whatever. Why would Moldaver take raiders into Vault 33 and unleash them on everybody, potentially almost hurting and killing Rose's kids?
So I think that's where some of the controversy starts, is Moldaver, from what I got out of the ending, is that she's supposed to be some sort of NCR, right? Is that correct?
I don't know if Moldaver is like everything with regard, like I would say the biggest plot holes that I saw were regarding her. Like I don't understand how she's still alive.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's another one.
Cryo Vault. She's
right, but
definitely.
But who's Cryo Vault? She was leading the communists against the capitalists when we last saw her.
She could have been like, okay, so this is where I was talking to Carmine about it, was Moldaver, right? Everybody, I think I've heard this from a couple of people. How did she get in the Wasteland if she's pre-war, right? And there's only really 2 or 3 ways. Time travel with the Wild Wasteland perk, which is not canon. There's becoming a ghoul, and then there's cryo storage. Cryo storage isn't specific to one vault. It's not specific to just what's the vault in the show, 3 or 4, right? Or 33?
4.
Right?
I mean, one could explain like that. The reason that they worship her in Vault 4 is that she went to Vault 4 and she was cryo sleeping in Vault. But wait, no, she would have been cryo sleeping before. But we know we met the scientists from Vault 4 beforehand, and they were definitely like super with Vault Tech.
She was definitely in my head. She for sure was definitely a Vault Tech employee that has been radicalized by the Wasteland. She most likely came out of the same pods that Hank came out of. Like, even though we saw the names on him, her real name probably isn't Moldaver. She's probably like one of those names. Maybe she's further in one of the pods that were open. But I think that she went out after being, maybe overseer, or maybe they had a specific Vault Tech mission for her, because all vaults are experimental, and she was sent over to 4. Or 4 had, because you can see in that boardroom at the very end where everybody's kind of arguing over what they want their vault to be. All of those are canon. So every vault is an experiment. It's not really that far of a belief system to say, Vault Tech wanted one of their employees from pre-war to take control of a vault as an overseer 200 years later. So we're going to build one cryo storage for the most important Vault Tech employee. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think that she just came from a cryopod, and she's probably in the different part of Vault Tech that wants to control the world, where Hank wants to control the world as well, and they're in a weird war.
Here's the thing. It's not that it's not possible that she somehow ended up in a vault cryopod, but we need to see that. That needs to be season 2 immediately. But the thing is, her character dies at the end. So I'm like, are they even going to bring her back? Because when we saw her back in pre-war times, she was the leader of the communists and against Vault Tech. And so we have to explain how she gets from being the enemy of Vault Tech into a Vault Tech cryo chamber, and then escapes that Vault Tech cryo chamber to start Shady Sands.
I mean, I imagine she could even be like, they probably could be saving it for season 2, because she could just be a force of Robert House. Like, she could come from a cryo vault under Lucky 38. So I mean, that's a good point. I didn't even realize that. It's like, how did she? And we need to see it. Yeah, and they did kill her. So I really hope in season 2 they at least explore her backstory, or just give us a one-off line to satisfy most people.
I mean, there's a lot of mysteries with the ghoul. Like how did he go from? We still don't know how he goes from being married and to single dad with the kid to searching for his family, meaning his wife and the kid. Like, had he not said his family and just said his daughter, I would have been like, well, yeah, he grabbed the kid and they got divorced and they were out of there. That would just be the logical thing.
that the wife took the kid to a different vault or something, or like exited the vault early,
right?
Or even went into a vault and left him outside of one or something.
But he was already labeled as a communist and exiled from Hollywood doing birthday parties. So like with the daughter, so is Vault Tech really going to tolerate her being married to a communist, a known communist? That kind of thing. So there's a lot of explanation that needs to be done with the ghouls plotline too.
So far, two plot lines you've mentioned, two plot holes you've mentioned. Moldaver surviving, how that happened, and two, how did this whole situation with I want to like tag in another plot line with you about that you're bringing about Cooper and his family. What if Barb, Cooper's wife, part of Vault-Tec, if she's the first one to bring up the idea of dropping the bombs. If she knew when the bombs were going to drop, why would she let her daughter out there with the father?
They were definitely already separated at that point,
right? But the daughter, condemning
they say
daughter?
it. They have a little bit of the daughter. I don't know. I imagine she's just with her dad, like on a Sunday, right? But
also like why, when he knows that nuclear war is going to happen very soon, is he even still chilling around like Los Angeles doing birthday parties?
Imagine the one you love said that. You'd probably think you could talk her out of it, right? So like, here's my thing. He probably still wants to be around his kid. He probably thinks his ex-wife really isn't that evil, and he's sitting there doing the kids' birthday parties. They say, I think in the beginning, to pay alimony, right? So I don't think it's a stretch because he's the little girl asks about that in the very beginning.
Pay alimony to his incredibly rich wife. Yeah.
It's pretty funny. I like.
Well, what I'm saying about like Barbara is, why would she pick a day?
I don't think she picked the day.
Drop? They probably betrayed her. And, like,
somebody, there needs to be betrayal with Barb.
She's not the top of Vault-Tec. She was just representing Vault-Tec in the board meeting. So and there was like 2 Vault-Tec employees. You remember you pointed out the guy that's like in a silhouette above them watching? That's probably the leader of Vault-Tec.
Oh, I see.
And
Speaking
the bombs dropped on October 26th, so like I don't know if she really knew or chose that date.
She probably didn't. You're right. She was probably betrayed as well, which that will need to be answered in season 2. But speaking of which, if Vault 31 has all the Vault-Tec execs for management or whatever, and Hank comes from that vault, how come he didn't recognize that Moldaver was probably not someone from Vault 31?
As I was talking, I started to realize that he was probably she was probably like somebody from an outside source. Like maybe she was stored somewhere else.
You're not just Hank. You're right. Every single, if only Vault 31 execs are in charge, every single Vault 31 person would immediately know that that's not Vault 32. That those aren't the leaders.
Like, even if Moldaver somehow got into Vault 32, okay, fine. And she's a part of, like, if she's a part of Vault 31 secretly, okay, fine. But she had a bunch of raiders with her. How come he didn't realize, like, those people that, wait a minute, I'm monitoring Vault 33 and 32. Who are those people?
The only explanation would be, like, the 31ers wanted the fight to happen, but it was pretty deadly. I mean, the one woman lost an eye.
I don't think that's what the case is.
Hank's daughter almost died. But you're right; it's a plot hole that if the 31ers should be in charge, they should have been in charge of Vault 32.
Well, the 31ers, they're all asleep. Like they're all.
Well, no, not all of them. The blonde was a 31er. The black woman's a 31er. Hank's a 31er.
Well, they're all in 33, and they're no longer like when you're the overseer, you're a vault dweller instead of a vault. You're not thinking about the other vault. Like you only think about the other vault when it comes to trade or if they survived or when you're sending messages.
I mean, I suppose that they were execs that never met each other. They could be like, I guess I've never met these execs.
Oh, you mean like they act like they don't know each other or something? Like you're specifically talking about Betty, Hank, and the blonde lady, right?
No, you're right. Well, Betty, Hank, and the blonde lady are 31ers, but when the 32ers came over, they should have been like, who's your 31? Like, who's the person that was 31? But they don't do that. But I suppose
that's fair. I get what you're saying.
One could argue that they just didn't. That it didn't send a red flag because they just assumed they were from they
were from Vault-Tec, yeah.
They were from Vault Tech, but a part of Vault Tech that in a different city.
Yeah,
and they just didn't
I
know
imagine
that
that Hank couldn't know every single employee, and also the little brain guy is the one that chose the people to be frozen because it's his experiment. So I imagine there's people in those cryopods that Hank just doesn't know, and he just assumes they are going to become overseers of
That's
Vault 32.
fair, but you just brought me to another plot hole I just thought of. Clearly, when what's the kid? Norman, the
Rico from Hannah Montana.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, that is.
That's Lucy's little brother, right?
Yes.
When Norman goes and pretends to be Betty and contacting Vault 31, Vault 31 clearly has access to like all the other vaults. Okay, fine. How come Vault 31 and that guy...
both the other vaults, yeah.
How come... Bub, what's that guy's name? Bub Baskins, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
he's the brain in the jar. How come Bud didn't know that Vault 32 was compromised a long time ago?
He was stuck behind the little broom.
No way. That's that answer to that?
Dude, yes, that's the answer.
I thought he only got stuck behind the broom when he was trying to go to the door. I thought he was only stuck behind the broom for like half an hour.
Nah, I think it was definitely like a year or two. Like since the last person got unthawed, like that would be the most Fallout answer in my opinion.